So what are lists? Well, we make lists every day to buy groceries, lists of chores that need to be done. And in a SharePoint team site, lists are very much like that, except that many people can interact with them. So, for example, here in the task list, we show different tasks that need to be done. Here's a task that somebody set up for Todd. He needs to schedule some client interviews. And the one below it is for Sean. He needs to confirm office space for visiting employees. But if you look a little closer at the structure of the overall list, you see how very much like a spreadsheet it actually is. You've got columns and you've got rows. And while this is all pretty straightforward, we should take a look at some other examples. So if you click on the Lists heading, you're actually taken to a list of all the lists that are currently available in your site. Let's take a look at the Announcements list. This Announcements list actually contains timely announcements of interest to people on the team. And notice that it has the same structure as the task list. It has the rows, and it has the columns for title and date modified. Now let's go back into our lists, and this time let's look at links. Now this is a links list that contains URLs that people have posted that they feel are important to the team. But here again, we find our rows and our columns for URL and notes. So we know just by looking at this and the others that they're SharePoint lists. Let's take a look at the calendar. Now we're being told by its location here under the list link that it too is a list. But when we go in, we notice that it doesn't resemble any of the other lists that we've been looking at. In fact, it looks just like, well, a calendar. But if we look at it from a different view, if we go up here to the Change View drop-down and we choose All Events, we get a listing of all the events inside the calendar laid out like a list. So again, here is our list structure with our rows and our columns for title, location, start time, and end time. So in reality, it would seem that the calendar is in fact a list as well. But that still doesn't really answer the question, what is a list? Well, a list in our team site is a collection of data that you can share with team members and other site users. And the structure of the list, with its columns and its rows, serve as the underlying structure for many things on the site, like the tasks, or the announcements, or the links, or even the calendar, where we discovered that the list lies in the background. So, coming up for the following demonstrations, we're going to show you ways to manage information inside lists. Once you get the hang of these skills, you'll be able to work with any list in your team site.